Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. You know today's guest so well. For 3 years in a row, he was the third best classic physique man on the Olympia stage. Last year, he was crowned third best man on the 212 Olympia stage. In a few weeks, he's going to be going for that #1 spot. Please welcome all the way from New York, George "the Bull" Peterson III. What's up, George?
Hey, what's going on, Ron? I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, look at that face. We got 7 weeks. How many weeks now?
I think it's 8 weeks now, officially today.
Yeah, just you guys will see this in a few days, but this was recorded on Friday the 13th. So please stay safe today, George. But,
I will. Right, so you know what that means? That means there's going to be a massacre coming. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, well, just a massacre. Well, just don't do any 800-pound squats today. That's all I'm asking you. Stick to 700. That's all. So I got some questions because this is an exciting Olympia for you, for all of us, but especially you. This is your second time around as a 212. So here's my question for you. As you speak, you have only been a 212 pro for a little over a year after 3 successful seasons in classic physique. Talk to me about the off season you had before starting this prep, because you didn't have to worry about starving down to 192 pounds anymore. How big did you let yourself get? I saw you a couple times looking enormous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this off season, I allowed myself to get up to 250 pounds, no higher than that. And this 250 pounds that I got up to was a much prettier 250 pounds than my previous 250 pounds, like, the time before. I still had abs, you still saw, lines in certain places on my body. So I was very pleased with this off season, getting up to that 250 pounds.
Yeah. Did you limit yourself when you were off season prepping for classic? Did you make sure you didn't get above like 230 or 240, knowing that you had to get down to 192?
Yeah, the cap was like between 225 and 230.
Yeah.
We didn't want to, Justin always said, I don't want you to get any heavier than that. And the thing was, my body wanted to get heavier than that, but we would have to, fight it, and I couldn't eat as much as I wanted to in the off season. But it's so much better now, because now I can just go, and still, not go crazy. Because in reality, I could have gone heavier than 250 this off season, but we still got to make 212, so we don't need to go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when you were 225, 230 all those years, man, you looked like you could have got in contest shape in 3-4 weeks if you had to back then. It's probably true. You're far off. So next question I have is, I know your arms and more so your legs were focal points in this past off season, because your back, everybody knows about your back. It's pretty, you're all done. Chest and delts also, it's hard to compare anything to your back, but your chest and delts are also quite massive. But what did you do different for arms and legs? You don't have to go into too much detail, but a lot of people out there they're more torso dominant and the limbs don't grow as easily for them. What did you do differently, and what kind of results did you see?
Well, for legs, basic movements tend to work best for me. So I just, stuck to, good old squats. I pretty much will implement those, and pretty much every, leg workout, I probably would give myself a break from squats, 1 week here, but then get right back on them, and just doing different variations, changing up the routine. If I don't do squats at the beginning of the workout, I'll finish the routine with squats. So that's been a focal point in developing my legs, and I could see them. They're fuller and rounder looking. So that's definitely going to be apparent this time on stage. And for the arms, just doing trying different things, like sometimes I would do a lot of superset movements between biceps and triceps, going from one bicep movement to a tricep movement, back and forth. Sometimes I'll focus first like on the biceps, get that out the way, then focus all on the triceps, finish that up. Just doing different things, but my arms have just been responding. Pretty much keeping it basic has worked for me.
Yeah, I know some people are gonna, in the comments, are gonna be saying, how can you dare say anything? George has huge arms, don't get me wrong, but it's all about balance and proportion to the overall physique. I mean, do you walk around in a t-shirt in the off season? I'm sure everyone freaks out over your arms. They're huge. It's just on the Olympia, you're trying to win the top title in the world. You're trying to have the best physique in the world. So everything has to be equally balanced and proportionate and impressive. So there you go, people. So that's why. Yeah, here we go. Does it annoy you when people talk about men you've already beaten at the 212 Olympia or even men who haven't stepped on the Olympia stage yet as being their pick to win the show when you've already established yourself last year, your first try in third place?
I mean, it doesn't annoy me per se,
Justin.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it is what it is. People that, they do that because they have their favorites. They have they have their ones they're rooting for. So they're going to mention those people, even though, they may not have actually stepped on the stage with me or I may have placed higher than them already. But, but yeah, it doesn't ignore, it doesn't annoy me at all. Cause like I said, I know what it is. And, if anything, for those, competitors, it may possibly get to their head, hearing that, but I don't got nothing to do with that, but as far as me, it doesn't annoy me at all.
I gotta say, you seem to have a really good handle on your emotions. I'm sure you must get angry and stuff at sometimes, but you seem to really have good control over that. I never seen you, surly or, some people just you don't want to like avoid them and stuff. You seem pretty chill. Like I give you props, man. Because
hey, you know what? There's one thing that I firmly believe is when you have a firm grip on your emotions, that's one key to success.
Yeah, you're so true. So true. All right, well, let's see how you react to this question. Some people love statistics. It's true that not one of the winners of either 202 or 212 Olympia since it began in 2008, and this would be, we've had David Henry, Kevin English, Flex Lewis, Kamal Gardney, and Sean Clarita. Those are all the winners since they broke into 202 and 212. Have been over 5'5" in height. And if any of you guys that I just mentioned are 5'5.5", I'm sorry, or 5'6", I'm just being general here. Sean is probably, he says 5'2". I think he's like 5'1". So at 5'8", you would be the tallest man to ever win the title by far. Tell me why being taller is not a disadvantage in your mind, because you all have the same 212 to get down to.
Right. Well, for me, I believe my height is not going to be a disadvantage because it'll help my physique have an aesthetic look. That'll be hard to match.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in in order to be a good 212 guy that you got to be 5'4", 5'3", 5'2". I feel like a 5'7", 5'8" guy with great proportions and great aesthetics, will stand out like crazy in that lineup, and then that's what I intend to do.
Yeah,
and that's why I don't think it's a disadvantage to me.
I mean, I know it was a different era, but Frank Zane won 3 open Mr. Olympia titles at, I believe, 5'9", 185 pounds. And he beat guys like Robbie Robinson, Mike Mentzer, guys who were just more massively built, but aesthetics. That guy, it's funny how the younger generation rips on Frank Zane. Frank Zane was awesome. I'm sorry,
Absolutely,
guys.
Absolutely. Because when you think about it, when it's like, of course, when 202 and 212 was, started, it was made for the shorter guys.
Yeah.
But there was no rule book that said you had to be 5'2". It just turned out to be like that. But I feel like if a guy comes in there who's like 5'7", 5'8"-ish, and has the muscle and the aesthetics and the condition, he'll stand out like crazy, and it'll be hard to deny that look.
Yeah. And another thing is, a great physique is a great physique.
Yeah.
I mean, how tall is Hadi? You stood next to him.
Geez, I have no idea how tall Hadi is.
5'5", 5'6" at the most, right?
Yeah,
Bonac, probably about the same, 5'6".
Same thing, maybe 5'6", something like that, probably 5'6"-ish.
So no one ever said, well, these guys can't do well at the Olympia. I mean, Bonac has been second place at the Olympia. Hadi was third place. So guys, get over the height thing. It's not that critical unless you're on the dating market. Then it might play a bigger role. Here's a good question. Cardio, because I've often wondered, how much cardio does George do? How much are you doing now, and do you expect it to increase, or did you and Justin sort of plan out the prep so you wouldn't have to really ramp up the cardio?
Right. Well, cardio, I'm doing roughly about an hour for the most part. Depending on how I'm progressing as the days and the weeks go on, it could possibly go to an hour and a half. There's been in previous preps, there's been some occasions where I've done about 2 hours, but that has not been very often because I've always been in shape so early. We never had to push it like that, but just, sometimes we just want to get a little extra. And as far as the way I'm looking right now, I can't foresee Justin telling me to do any more than I'm doing right now because I'm in very, very good shape right now as it is.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Yeah. So how do you break that up? Do you do it all an hour once, or you break it up? People want to know, do you wake up and do it? Do you do something after your weight training? Do you do something before you go to bed?
I do all my cardio post workout. Yeah,
Okay.
post-workout. If it goes beyond an hour, then I start to break that up, and I may do like a half an hour fasted, and then an hour post workout.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people think you have to do cardio fasted when you wake up, or else you're not going to burn fat. But have you been doing it post weight training for most of your pro career?
Most of my career, pretty much. Yeah, all of my pro career. Fasted cardio is a great way to help accelerate the fat burning process, but it also could be a danger of possibly burning some muscle. So you have to be careful. It's effective, but you have to be careful.
Right. And when you think about it, you're training so hard and heavy, like most of the guys at your level. After you train, you're pretty much fasted anyway. All that glycogen's gone.
Exactly.
You're going right into body fat, just as if you woke up. So,
exactly.
See, guys, you don't have to wake up at 5 in the morning to do cardio if you really don't want to. Okay, this is going to be a little longer answer, but that's okay, because people get fascinated by this. Can you take me through, use today or yesterday's example, a full day of eating and supplementation? Meal 1, meal 2, meal 3.
Okay, well, meal 1 would be wake up. I have about 9 eggs with raw spinach salad.
Hold on, 9 whole eggs? Wow.
Actually, two of them would be whole, and the rest are just whites. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going that crazy.
You never know.
But, and then meal 2 would be about 7 ounces of chicken breast with 4 ounces of potato and raw spinach salad. Next meal is 7 ounces of tilapia. The same thing. 4 ounces of potato, spinach. Then I do the same thing. Then the next meal is chicken again. Then I'll have a ground beef meal. All the proteins are 7 ounces. Right now.
Yeah.
And every meal has the 4 ounces of potato with spinach. And then before I go to bed, that meal will have no carbs at all, and that'll be a fish meal. And then I'll go to bed. Supplements, as far as like right now, I'm taking in the morning when I wake up, I use a Redcon 1 fat burners, and I use the L-carnitine by Redcon 1 about maybe 30 minutes before cardio to accelerate the fat burning process.
Yep.
I take the Redcon 1 silencer at the in the evening, which is a non-stem fat burner to get to help that acceleration as well.
Yeah. So you're taking a double tap powder in the morning?
The double tap, yeah, in the morning. That's right.
Delicious. Okay, I rudely interrupted your breakfast. Was there some carbs with that? Because you got to the eggs and I jumped right in on you on that.
Yeah, there's no carbs in the breakfast.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Good Lord. Okay. Here we go. So this is your 5th Olympia prep in 5 years. I know you're only about halfway through it at this point, but so far, what's different about this prep? Is it harder, easier, or just different in any way?
I would say what's different about this prep is we started it earlier. We started it sooner than the last ones, so that's got me ahead as far as how in shape I am. I wouldn't say it's harder. It's kind of the same. I've been doing it for so long. It's all kind of blends in. It it's hard. I wouldn't say it's harder than the last ones. Damn sure it's not as hard as like when I was trying to get down for those classic weights. Those were the hardest. Trust me on that. Because I had to damn near starve myself. Now I'm able to have a little bit more food, which is making it better. And the one thing I can say about this prep is that my strength has increased tremendously compared to previous preps. Like even though I'm coming down, my strength is still there, which is going to allow me to show a lot more muscle this time around once I'm on stage.
Well, since a lot of the guys out there will never have a great physique, but they love to lift heavy weights, give me some examples of how the strength has gone up.
Well, say for this prep, with the incline dumbbells, like I've gone up to 180-pound dumbbells. And I've never touched those, in any of the previous preps before, squatting 500 pounds, getting 10 reps out of that with no issues pretty much. And this is when while being depleted,
Yeah.
Let's see what else. like I do like, my stiff leg deadlifts with the 4 plates at Bev's, which those weights are heavier than what they say.
They're like the 45s are like 50 pounds, aren't they?
They're like 47.5,
So you guys are a little stronger than everyone else in every other gym in the world, I guess.
Exactly.
I mean, they're enormous too. They look like.
Yeah, if you go to if you normally train at any other gym and then you come to Bev's, you'll be humbled. Trust me on that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So those are just a few examples, but I just, and I feel different. Like, like I was telling Justin the other day, like I just feel the muscle on me, and it's just something that's hard to describe, but I just feel it. Like it almost feels like I'm pumped 24/7.
Wow.
Yeah, that's literally like how I feel. So I know that like it's gonna be a different kind of look.
Sounds like a supplement ad the way you're talking now. Yeah, because you put up a picture on your Instagram just the other day with those dumbbells right before you started the set. Yeah. They were so big they almost covered like you almost couldn't see you behind them.
Right.
They were on your lap and you're holding them and they were like from here to there, those 180s. Jeez.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know how you get them into position. Does someone help you or you just sit back with those?
No, I just sit back with them.
Wow. Those are big freaking dumbbells, man. Here's one. Do you still follow Classic Physique? If so, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what might happen this year. Will Bumstead repeat? Can Ruffin beat him? Can Breon get his title back? Or could it be someone we're not even talking about that could win the title?
I mean, I definitely still follow it. And I mean, the way I see it, I still can see, I mean, even though Breon got third last year, I could see him getting back in the top 2. And, I could see him possibly, beating Bumstead again if he comes in, better than he did last year. We got to see how Bumstead comes in this year. If he comes in, and, even more improved than he did last year, then it's going to be a battle for sure. Depending on how Breon comes in. But if Breon comes in like 100% and Bumstead comes in 100%, I see those two as the top 2. We got other guys in there who who can give him a challenge. You got my boy Alex Cabernero.
Yeah, that's right.
Who could if he comes in there 100%, he's gonna be doing the Arnold, I believe. Yeah. And then after that, into the Olympia, he comes in there 100%. He can give him a run because he has great shape and everything. But I mean, for right now, I would have to say Bumstead and Breon top 2.
Yeah, it's funny because Breon talks. He said a few times that he's never brought 100% to the Olympia stage. He's never been satisfied. It's always been he could have been fuller, he could have been a little leaner, this or that. Do you feel you've ever brought 100% to the Olympia stage of what you were capable of so far?
I mean, I honestly believe that in 2019, that year at the Olympia, for what I was given, I had to make that 192. For those guidelines, I feel like I brought 100% for what I could do with that weight. Like I felt like I couldn't be any better than what I brought, that year. That was, my all-time best look in Classic Physique. I was very proud of that look too. It was just a nasty, sharp look, and I'm very proud of that. So I don't think I could have been any better than that. But if I had to pick the year, I would say that year.
Yeah. It's. I know it was brutal and it sucked to have to get to 192, but it guaranteed you were always just carved out of granite every time you stepped on stage, pretty much.
Right.
Not that you're not as a 212, but it's, there's always that room for error when you don't have to you still have to make a weight, but you know what I'm saying. If people really have to starve down to a weight, really starve, they're going to be shredded.
Just wait till October. You're gonna see what granite really looks like.
Okay. That's what I like to hear, man. I love to see people at their absolute best battle. So here we go. A few years ago, you came to Justin. You just want to do one last contest, and you were just going to be on your merry way. Never look back at bodybuilding again. Right. Could you ever have imagined then that you would be in this position now with third place at the Olympia 4 years in a row? One of the very best bodybuilders in the entire world. Could you have even pictured that in your head?
Absolutely not. I think about it really often, and it's a trip every time I think about it. Yeah, I mean, my intention when I first met Justin. When I first met Justin, I had no intention of getting back on stage. And
it was your friend.
Yeah, it was my friend who wanted to compete, so I was just there for him. And then I kind of just got involved in the mix, and then me and Justin ended up starting to work together for this one show. And in my mind, like even during that process, I never told Justin, but in my mind, I was like, this is going to be a one and done for me. I just want to do this show, win, lose, or draw. I don't care. That's going to be it for me. I don't want to do no more shows after this show. But then, like, even before the show actually happened, I guess because Justin saw how I was progressing, he, like, in the middle of our leg workout, he's like, George, let me ask you a question. He turned the music off. He's like, if we win this show, would you be down to do nationals 2 weeks later? You know, and then I started thinking about it, you know, like, it was so hard for me to tell him no. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'll tell you what, Justin, if we win the overall, not just the class, but if we win overall convincingly, I'll take us down to Miami so we can do nationals 2 weeks later. And that's exactly what happened. And I became a national champion. Like, I was like, wow, like, can't believe this, you know what I mean? Like, so when that happened, that's when I knew, okay, this was the path. This was the path that was, you know, set out for me, you know, because I left this world and then I was drawn back in. That's a sign that this is the road you're supposed to be on. And now that I'm on that road, I want to nurture it with everything I have, you know?
Yeah. And you were the first NPC National Class Physique champion, weren't you?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. You won the overall.
The overall, yep.
Or do you remember who won the other classes? Are they still competing with you, or are they?
Well, they're still competing. Like Divine, he won the tall class.
Yeah.
And the guy who won the short class, his name is Nick. I'll forget his last name, but Nick is his first name. And I don't think he's done any shows recently for a few years, you know. But I still have him on Facebook as a friend. But those are the guys who you know, competed with me.
What about your friend that was going to do the show that this all started with? Whatever happened to him?
That's it. He ended up doing a show in, like, I think it was like in South Carolina or something like that. And then he did well. He won his class. And then you know, that was it. See, that's another thing, Ron. Like, it's so weird how this whole thing played out, because he wanted to do the show, not me.
Right.
He linked up with Justin, not me. I was there just for him. I ended up linking with Justin myself through that. And then when me and Justin started getting rolling, like, he kind of, like, he just, you know, he did his show and then he went on, and now he's just, you know, kind of just doing, you know, with a regular life. He's happy, you know, he has his family, he's living a regular life. So it's almost like it's almost like you know, like God made him, you know, the bridge for me to get to Justin, and then, you know, and then God had his plan for him. He wanted him to, you know, to live the life he's living, and now this is the life he wanted me to live for myself. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's very strange how, you know, interesting, I should say, how things happen like that, you know?
We got to give this guy a shout out, man.
Oh, his name is Marvin Elliott. He's my boy. He's been my training partner for years and years. And I love Marvin, you know, he's like one of the closest things to a brother that I could have, you know what I mean? Because he's always looked out for me. And due to him, I've made tremendous progress throughout the, you know, like the early years of my bodybuilding training and everything like that. So that's his name, Marvin Elliott. So if you're watching this, Marvin, I love you, bro.
Well, if it weren't for Marvin, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, would we?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you probably never would have done that last show, I don't think. So final question. It's a good, meaningful question. What would it mean for you to have your hand raised up as the Olympia champion?
Hey, like I said, if that was to happen, that would just mean that everything I believe about true hard work 100% does pay off. You know, like, I don't believe in you know, talent alone. You know, talent only gets you so far, you know, but there's a whole bunch of people in this world with talent, but there's not a lot of people that have the will to win. And, you know, and that's a very rare thing. And one thing that I tell, you know, people whenever they talk to me about it is, you know, it's not just, you know, about bodybuilding with me. Like, anything I did in my life, I wanted to be the best that I could be at it. You know, when I was in martial arts, I wanted to be the best martial artist on the planet. When I was studying computer engineering, I wanted to be the best computer engineer I could be, where I could end up one day working for Apple or Microsoft or Amazon. You know, and now I'm carrying over into bodybuilding. It's the same thing. Like, now I'm a bodybuilder, I want to be the best bodybuilder in the world, and I'm not going to stop until I achieve that. You know, and if I have my hand raised, you know, that just means that, you know, everything that I sacrificed, you know, everything that I put into it, you know, was worth it. You know, I just truly 100% believe that, and I feel like that's gonna be that icing on the cake to the story.
Can you hear Bob Chick's voice in your head saying, and your new Olympia champion, George Double P, because he always says the new when it's the new champion.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
man. I mean, I'm excited. It's going to be a great 212 show this year. Got yourself and a few other guys who are just excellent. It's going to be, I don't know if I'm going to say better than the Open, but it's going to be equally as exciting as the Open Mr. Olympia. It always is. I think it's always been
100%.
Yeah. So wishing you the best. I'm sure we'll talk between now. Geez, it's only still August. The contest is still in October, but I appreciate you taking the time. I could see the face, the diet's working. I see you on Instagram. Check out his YouTube channel. It's just called George Peterson, right?
George Peterson, yes.
George Peterson. Gonna get some new content going soon.
I've been slacking on that, but I'm gonna get some new content, rolling for sure.
Yeah, okay, cool. And follow him on Instagram at, is it
George P _ the Bull. That's DABULL.
Correct. All right. That's it, man. Thank you guys for watching. Follow him along on his YouTube and social media. We'll keep on bringing this Olympia coverage. It's the most exciting show of our year. We're definitely going to bring you as much of it as we can and talk to the athletes. So stay tuned right here to Muscular Development. We'll see you next time.